Well, good morning. Today I've got a beautiful piece of poplar. You can see it's got this terrific slant already. I'm intending to leave this as the top and see if we can form a nice shape that keeps this whole line going. But it's got gorgeous coloring. Um, really looking forward to getting into it to see what's inside. I've never turned poplar before, so this will be a first. And anyway, let's get it on the lathe and see what we've got. You can see that I've already kind of taken it to the drill press and used a Forstner bit to drill in, so I can put it between centers safely. But anyway, here we go. So first order of business, we're going to get this safely between centers and start getting it into round. So I quickly realized from the very beginning that as much as I got this into round, because of that very angled shape on the top, that basically this was going to wobble to a good degree throughout this whole turn. So I just kind of resolved that fact. But it was a little unnerving. But again, kind of what I signed up for. So the grain on this was just beautiful from the very beginning, and the shavings that were coming off, it looked like black walnut, and really surprised me. So we're going to start getting a tenon established. This is a little bit of a chunkier, heftier blank, so I'm using a little bit larger-ish tenon because I don't like having the smallest tenon I can on slightly heavier pieces. Now that we've got that foot on there and I kind of know how much I feel I can go in, I'm going to start defining the shape. And yeah, wow. I mean, the figuring on this blank was incredible. So I've got a real specific shape in mind, and I'm hoping I can accomplish it at this point. As I was working toward the top, as you'll see when the lathe pauses for a moment, that top sapwood was really punky, and I know that I'm going to have a few issues with that. Just going to keep working at it and trying to define the shape and getting it to where I'm comfortable, what I was picturing in my mind. Starting to come together and starting to feel good about it. Hopefully I can kind of keep it going and that top sapwood doesn't make things difficult. So I've never done a shape like this with the exaggerated top edge. So getting this hollowed out is going to be, I think, a bit of fun. Starting to stabilize the top a little bit with some CA glue and seeing if I can get it to be a little bit more of a solid surface. Gonna start my initial sanding here and see if we can get a nice smooth surface and feel good about turning it around. A little handy dandy palm sander that I like a lot so I don't feel the heat from the sandpaper. This is just a little bit of alcohol to clean off all the dust and raise the grain and also give us a nice first look. Kind of burnish the surface as I do a lot with smoother projects with the fine steel wool and be like a medium Scotch pad and a fine Scotch pad. Going to go ahead and put some Danish oil on the outside here to kind of really see what we're looking at. And so far so good. I'm feeling pretty good. Love this stuff already. I wish I had some more. So let's get this turned around now, get it secured in the chuck so we can start the hollowing process and kind of see how that goes. Going to take the bulk of the center out with a Forstner bit or two and see if I can save a little time and have a little bit more control entering the center, being that it is kind of obviously wonky. I opted to not start with my bowl gouge and just kind of take very straight passes with the square carbide to reduce and eliminate some of this interior material. Starting to get a little worried though too, because I know I marked the center, but when I am hollowing this out, I really am looking at a off-center hole, and I'm wondering how this is going to turn out at this point. Hopefully I didn't mess things up. So as this went on, the hollowing process, the more I opened it up, the more it seemed that, okay, the center hole is not going to really be off center. Again, this sapwood, the bane of my existence at this point, trying to use some very thin CA glue to stabilize it, let it sit for a bit. It was smoking like crazy. I had my respirator mask on through all of my turnings, and I realized that the respirator was sucking in, because it has built-in filters. It was sucking in the smoke and burning my eyes. Anyway, had to do that gluing without the respirator. That was no fun. I think we may be past the worst of that, I hope, at this point, and I'm gonna start getting the wall thickness where I want it to be, and also try to establish my depth and try not to mess up the shape that I'm looking to have. Again, more CA. Thought I was done, but not. Gonna start working some sanding now and seeing if we can get to a finished piece. I wanted to keep the outside edge natural as possible. Yeah, this did actually work out, but I don't recommend doing what I just showed you on video. I did get a couple banged up knuckles, and it's just not a great idea. I need to get an extender on my sander so I can reach inside hollow forms like this. So I'm going to get the tenon off, excuse me, tenon off now, and I use a vacuum chuck as a jam chuck, and I find that it gives me a lot of stability because it's directly mounted to the headstock, and I don't have to worry about truing it up. Once I get this nice and concaved on the bottom and my foot set, I can take this to the drill press and I'll eliminate that little nub with just the right size Forstner bit to put in my branding emblem. I opted not to do the branding emblem because there was no way to take it to the drill press and have this thing sit flush. So a little more Danish oil, and I think we're gonna not push our luck. I really was pleased how it came out, especially my first attempt at something like this. Please stick around for the after pics and smash that notification bell. It's the best way to support me for free. And thank you so much for watching again. Take care.